After all this,
We can do that. We go to our,
she says, Kim says, no show, let's go.
booth. Ready in the booth? All right. Good evening, everyone. We'll begin our Board of Appeals meeting for the City of Holland. Board members are regular citizens of Holland who have volunteered and have been appointed by City Council to consider applications to the Zoning Board of Appeals, Housing Board of Appeals, the Construction Board of Appeals, and for accommodations for persons with disabilities. This board must interpret each application as it relates to city ordinances. This board is not empowered to rezone or to take any action that could be considered rezoning. The presence of 4 board members is required for a quorum. It also takes 4 concurring votes to approve applications. If only 4 are present, applicants should be reminded the voting would need to be unanimous to be approved and are welcome to ask the application to be tabled. When your application is called, we ask that you come to the microphone at the podium and state your name and address. We will hear the applicant explain their application first. The board will have the opportunity to ask questions, and then there will be a public hearing. After the public hearing is closed, there will be no other opportunity for further public comment related to the application. Decisions of the board are final and are effective on the day of such decision. However, applicants may appeal decisions to the circuit court in accordance with state law. If you elect not to stay for our deliberation and decision, you may call the Community and Neighborhood Services Department after 8:30 tomorrow morning to learn the results. Meetings are streamed live online and recorded and available to view on the city's YouTube channel. If our board has no objections with the agenda,
None.
will our clerk please read the first item?
Application for 256 West 18th Street, application number 25.02Z. Kimberly Van Kloppenberg, on behalf of My House Ministry, is requesting a special exception for a housing accommodation to operate a recovery residence at 256 West 18th Street. She is requesting 9 unrelated persons live together as a family, versus 6 are allowed. The Board of Appeals may approve this request if certain conditions are met.
Okay. Tricia, this is a first. What do we do here since nobody's here?
I can try to call her.
Okay.
The board could choose to take a 5-minute recess and give her a few more minutes to appear. Or the board could make a determination on the application. And if there's not enough information to make a decision, the application could be denied or tabled to next month.
Any feedback on that, everybody?
Do you know, Tricia, you've spoken with the applicant.
I talked to her yesterday, so she was aware of the meeting today.
Right, but did she give you any sense of urgency on this? Where tabling might be a problem for them, or no?
I don't know their timeline.
Okay.
I don't know that there's any point in us discussing it if we're gonna have to do it all over again once they get here.
Are they required to be here?
I don't think they are.
No,
They're only required to be here to answer questions if the board has questions.
and
If the board has enough information to make a determination on the application without the applicant being present, we've done it both ways.
Okay.
I have a
I-
question.
It's been denied, it's been tabled, and it's been approved with the application, with the applicant not present. It depends on if the board has enough information to answer all of the questions for the findings of fact and to make a determination without asking the applicant for additional information.
Did she indicate, the applicant indicate that they were planning to be here?
She did.
So it might be prudent to give another 5 minutes, perhaps?
Yeah,
I can
could
try
you?
to call her. The number I have is her office number, but yeah, I can try to give her a call.
Would we have to pay for dinner if we don't have a meeting?
I'll have to check the bylaws, Fred.
Asking for a friend.
Horak,
Yes.
Bedard,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Van Antwerp,
Yes.
Lockery, Fusak.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
All right, we're on a 10-minute recess. No, we're on recess. Sorry. You'll explain the
minutes up?
application, and then we'll have some questions, and then we'll open it up to a public hearing. Probably within that time too, you can explain a little bit more about the My House Ministry.
Okay.
So, alrighty, where is Rick? Where's he go? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm ready. Are we ready?
We had Tim in a recess, so he was ready.
Okay. All right, we are back from our recess, which went a little bit longer, went about 15 or 16 minutes here. And the applicant for 256 West 18th Street, dash 2502Z is at the podium.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Van Klempenberg. I live at 140 East 37th Street in Holland here, and I am the executive director of My House Ministry. So tonight I'm here to request an occupancy increase at this address from 6 individual households to 9. And I'll explain a little bit about My House Ministry and what we are doing at that residence specifically. So My House Ministry started in 2013 as a way to help women coming out of domestic violence experiences, women and children. And through the years, it has become a place for all women, single and single mothers, who find themselves in chaos, whether that's addiction, leaving an abusive relationship, homelessness, poverty, just general chaos, where they can come and find a fresh start at a new life. So at our ministry, we are Christ-centered ministry program, nonprofit in Holland. We believe that every woman has the right to a fresh start and that her past does not have to determine her future. So currently we operate in 3 homes in the Holland community. We have a mom's house on the north side of town. We have another house near Boulevard Church where we serve women who do not have addiction recovery. And then the address that we're talking about now is our addiction only residence. And we made that direct change in October of last year, where we slid all addiction only women to that house. So we've been serving women in addiction from the beginning of the program, and the program started at this residency as well. So I was looking back today, and through the statistics I have, and since 2013, we've had 103 women live at that residency. This past year, 2024, we had 17 women there. 2023, 17 women. 22, we had 10 women, and 21, we had 14 women. So that's with an occupancy of 6. Most of the time, we do not have all 6 beds filled. But today, I'm asking for an increase to 9 because we are in the process of becoming MAR/NAR certified. And we want to be able to help as many women as we can who find themselves in addiction recovery. And so my guess is that if you approve 9 beds, we'll probably run around 7 filled. Overall average at a time. But I'm being told by our friends at Ottawa County CMH that we will start getting referrals from all over the state once we become MAR certified. We will take a woman from any county. We've even taken women from out of state to be in our program as well. And we, in February of this year, became an active substance use disorder housing vendor for Ottawa County CMH. And we currently have our first resident from Ottawa County who came to us from Bear River, taking advantage of that first month of program fee paid with the said housing. from CMH, Ottawa County. So we receive, as far as addiction recovery, referrals from Bear River, from Skywood in Augusta, Kalamazoo County, from Harbor House, run by Reach for Recovery, and Sanford Behavioral Health as well. So our name is out there as being a safe place for women in addiction recovery to come. We are a transitional housing program, so women maintain their homeless status, which helps them to receive additional services and money in the community. So at our ministry, as far as getting MAR NAR certified, I've been looking through like the different levels 1, 2, 3, and 4. And MAR is gonna have to help me figure out which level we specifically land on. I was looking at the language for level 3, which says residents offer a paid staff supportive environment that offers life skills training and peer-based recovery supports. Our program includes safe and sober housing. So when women come to us and we interview them, they are choosing our program that includes the housing. That will be no different for a woman who is in our recovery housing. She will be experiencing our program. So MAR level 1 talks about residents in the home will practice self-governship by a set of house rules. That will happen. They will have their own little governance inside. We will have a house manager, but that will be a program participant that the staff decides on who that will be. So we have been working over the last year to really get ourselves ready staff-wise for this. We have a program manager and a sobriety coach on staff, and women in our recovery house, when they come into our program, their first month they have 2 one-hour meetings with their life skills coordinator to get them oriented to the house, to the process, the program, so we can figure out what their needs are and what resources to start getting them connected to as well. And then they also get that 1 hour a week sobriety coach meeting. And our sobriety coach is extremely gracious and makes herself available 24/7. So I would see us, as we increase occupancy, adding another one of those to our staff, but currently we're not ready for that. And we're not going to grow this faster than what our staff can handle either, but we want to be able to be ready to when that time comes. And so our program is we take a real holistic approach to the woman. We have 4 pillars that helps us set goals and helps our residents set goals and for us to hold accountable. So we have physical, spiritual, financial, and social emotional. So we set goals in those areas. We have a registered dietitian on staff. We have monthly house meetings, and a few times she's done classes on eating and triggers. Like when you have a trigger, do you eat? What do you seek? How do you kind of parse that out, right? To see what's setting you off and what you're going after to medicate that or whatever. That's a whole nother conversation. But we have qualified staff. We've been adding qualified staff to help all of our women, but women in recovery as well, have the best opportunity to a fresh start. So,
Okay, well, I know our staff has some questions for
good,
you.
yeah, yep,
Can we
I'll
go
do
there?
my very
All
best
right.
to answer them.
All right, here we go. Anyone?
I have a question.
Yes.
One of the things that we have to look at is, does this accommodation impose any undue financial or administrative burden
Sure.
on the city? Could you explain how your finances work?
Absolutely. So every woman in our program, so in this house as well, pays a program fee of $175 a week. If you come to us and you are on SSI or disability, you have to be able to also work a part-time job. So because the disability check and fund isn't enough to cover your program fee and to pay your bills and live off. So we have that standard. Maybe another part to answer your question, we also require that all residents are med compliant. So if they share that they have a mental health diagnosis, if her doctor has prescribed meds, she has to stay on those meds. We stay in close contact about that as well, which I have seen has dramatically cut down. We do not have police visits to our house, very rarely. The last time we had a police visit to our house was sometime late last fall. We had to ask for a mental health check on a woman. She was spiraling and really needed to get some help. And before that, it was at least a year before that, since someone was called to that house, and she called the police on me as I was dismissing her, and she was under the influence. So it's not a common occurrence that way for that. So they pay program fee.
Okay.
The property, the mortgage has been paid by my house ministry.
So you would answer that question as no. Does the accommodation impose any undue financial or administrative burden on the
Correct.
city?
Yes,
Your
I would
answer
say no.
Be no to that. What you've run this program at this particular location for a while. How has your history been working in the neighborhood and getting
Yeah.
along with neighbors and so
Sure.
forth?
So I've been on staff for almost 3.5 years, and to my knowledge, there have not been any complaints brought to the ministry by neighbors at the house. Since the fall, I've had a little conversation with each of the neighbors on either side of us, and they seem to be okay.
Okay.
But I haven't talked to any neighbors across the street, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
My last question is, will the housing be used only by persons with a disability?
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Vehicle-wise, are there, do they have vehicles? They don't have vehicles? What is the situation with
Sure.
that?
Yeah. So women are allowed to have their vehicles if they have them. They must have current insurance, current registration, and a current driver's license. One of our program rules, I believe I shared those, is if you don't have that, that is considered illegal and dismissible violation. So we have at our home parking for 3 in our driveway.
Right.
Otherwise, women park on the road. Now, one time I can remember 5 of our ladies had vehicles at one time. It's not a normal occurrence, though. Most women come to us on a suspended driver's license, or they don't have funds to purchase a vehicle or to maintain the insurance and such. So we are right by Max Bus, route line, so they use the bus, or we provide bikes as
Okay.
well.
I only have one other question, and
Yeah.
I know it depends on the individual, but average stay of a resident?
Yeah.
Roughly, just,
Right? We celebrate 6 months. We've been seeing some progressive increase with the new staff that we have on board that understands addiction and recovery. So we've been seeing the number of months increase a lot. We just had a woman 14 months with
Okay.
us. So
yeah, there's anomalies,
Yeah.
and everyone's different. Thank
there
you.
is. It's tricky. It's
Yes.
real tricky. It depends on how ready is she and how well does she accept accountability.
Sure, thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Kimberly, you mentioned, I just want to make sure I got this right.
Yeah.
Did you say you had 103 residents go through just this one particular residence or through your program?
Sure.
And did you say you had 3 homes in the area?
Yeah, in that particular residence,
Mhm.
since 2013, 103 residents go through that house.
So
Yep.
not 103 through your whole program?
No,
And you said you had
we are
3
in the
residents?
240 range now for the whole program. Yep.
Okay.
And yes, we do operate 3 homes. One for women and children on the north side, and then for by Boulevard Church for single women in that house that do not have addiction recovery.
And this one, as you've
This
already
one
answered, is
yeah.
just for addiction?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So, you've had 6, and many,
Mhm.
and you said many times not full. So I was gonna ask, you don't have a current waiting list at the moment?
Currently, we do not have a waiting list. It goes in ebbs and flows. It's tax return season, so women are living off their tax return
Okay.
right now. Mhm.
And then, but how far away from MAR certification are you?
We are, I would say, 60 days out.
Okay. And with that, you're planning ahead now
Mhm.
and therefore
Yes.
applying for more occupancy loading,
Yes.
availability at this particular residence?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, those were my questions, and so you'll be likely receiving more referrals once you do get MAR certified, you believe?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Even just today, we had a phone call from a woman who lives in Dearborn who somehow learned about our program. Yep.
Question down here.
So you mentioned that you identified the other 2 houses,
Yeah.
one with children,
Mhm.
one for single ladies. Is it ever an instance where somebody may have a child at this resident?
I
at this
wouldn't see
program?
that happening, no.
Is it very likely
That's
because
something
it's,
by case basis. Like if it was a woman, I don't even know. It's tough. I would have to lean into what MAR says, and I'm guessing they would say no. Or that we would have to have a separate, like Harbor House has a separate room for moms with newborn babies. So, no, we really, we don't allow visitors in any of our homes either. In this home specifically, no family members or friends on the property or in the house. And I think that really minimizes as well any public safety issues that happen. But even parenting time visits cannot happen at that house. So I really have to lean towards no, we wouldn't. But if we were allowed to make an exception, it would be because it's a woman coming in pregnant or a woman coming in with a newborn. She would have her own bedroom.
well, and in making such an exception, I trust that you would evaluate any kind of trade-off that you might have to do to accommodate
Yes.
somebody having a child. For instance, if there were limitation on how many people were in the dwelling at the
Mhm.
time, and you bring in a child who's
Right.
obviously not fitting the
Yeah.
disability for which you're operating,
Yeah.
and it might mean that you'd have to shuffle around who can stay and who could go to meet occupancy requirements. Would you be prepared to do that?
So I have not searched this out, but being a former foster mom who had drug addicted newborn in my home, I would have to ask, but my mind goes to if this child is born from an addict who is using during pregnancy, that child could possibly also be labeled as having a disability because of exposure. Like to get technical, but we're just saying what ifs. I mean,
Well, I
MAR would, I'd really have to lean into MAR too. If the rule is no, it's no. But also we have the flexibility of our mom's house. If we had an opening over there, that would be the first option, would be to slide her over there.
So, and then by that same vein, if the city had such a restriction in place as to the number of occupants,
Mhm.
and that they clearly fit that definition, you'd be prepared to accept that nuance and perhaps make an argument or find a way
Oh.
that they might fit that definition?
Yeah, so I think what I'm hearing you say, like that baby would be counted as one of the 9
Potentially.
residents in the house. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So, but I would say our number one go-to would be sliding that woman with the baby over to our mom's house.
Thank you,
Yeah.
I appreciate
Yeah,
your
yep, thanks.
explanation, thanks.
I
It's
have
great that we
another
have that
question.
flexibility option.
Brett?
Since I'm probably going to be the one making the motion on this, I have a couple of other questions for
Okay.
you. First of all, if this housing wasn't available, where would these women go?
There is no other addiction recovery housing in Holland
Okay.
or Zealand.
Okay. And if there is an alternative accommodation, would they be able to find the same amount of benefits that you're providing? If there was something else, like another kind of house or something like that, would they be able to duplicate what you're doing at your place?
The only other place that I'm aware of that does anything kind of similar would be the 70x7 house in Grand Haven.
Mm-hmm.
But,
It's not here.
yeah, not in Holland area, no.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions?
I have a question, yeah.
Okay.
What do you use that space for now that you want to turn into bedrooms? And if you do turn it into bedrooms, are you going to be shorted on the community space for the 9 that will be there instead of the 6 now?
Sure, that's a great question. So right now we have 6 bedrooms in the house, and every woman has her own bedroom. We have, if I'm remembering right, 4 of the bedrooms measured with enough square footage to double up, but the reality is that would not be good. Not all of those rooms physically, when you're in them, feel like they could accommodate 2 women. So we have 3 bedrooms that we believe can nicely accommodate 2 women. So we would double those rooms up. So we would have 3 single bedrooms and 3 doubled bedrooms, twin beds. We have good spaces inside the house that can accommodate. 2 of the spaces can accommodate all 9 women at the same time, but we have 3 like cluster areas in the house. The living room, dining room area. In our upstairs, there's a nice sitting area that we have set up. And then in the basement, we have a great living room meeting area as well.
Okay.
So, and then we also have a rule like no, your bedroom is your private space. So women are, if that's not your room, you can't go in there, kind of thing too. So women do have space to get away alone as well.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you.
You can take a seat.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
At this time, we'll open the public hearing for comment or concern specific and to the point in regards to this application. Is there anyone who wishes to speak for or against this application? Tricia, have we received any correspondence?
I have not.
Thank you. Well, at this time, we'll close the public hearing. The board will deliberate.
Okay, well, if anyone doesn't have any other discussion, I'm ready to make a motion.
I would just like to make one comment, just that, as we talk about the disability, and that the mission statement is broad, that you presented in your documentation, which might cover multiple housing units, that for this particular unit, it's the state's legal definition of a disability. So I would like that included in your,
Okay.
As a condition.
as a condition or
Okay.
clarification, or however you're gonna hold it
Okay.
there, Fred.
All right, I move that we approve the request for special exception for a housing accommodation to operate a recovery residence at 256 West 18th Street The special exception allows 9 unrelated persons with disabilities to live together as a family where 6 are allowed.
Support. Okay, we have a motion and support. Findings of fact?
Findings of fact, the requested accommodation is a group of individuals with a disability and is protected under the fair housing laws. The accommodation is necessary to make housing available for these individuals.
I'm gonna interrupt you real quick, Fred. So at the last meeting, the previous legal counsel said you can't just repeat the question, you have to say why.
Okay.
Or how it meets the test.
Okay, so I'll start over again. The requested accommodation is protected under the fair housing laws, so that's a finding that we have to make. This accommodation is necessary to house individuals with these problems in our community. All of the people that will be staying at this residence will have a disability. The accommodation and their financial program does not impose any kind of undue financial or administrative burden on the city government. And the request doesn't make any fundamental alteration to the city's zoning code. And if there are no alternative accommodations that can provide this level of support in the area of the city of Holland. So those are my findings of fact.
Does that cover the legal definition of disability, or does that need to be stated?
Turn on your microphone.
I think we need to elaborate on several of them. Yes, so for example, on the first one, the requested accommodation is a group of individuals with disability protected under fair housing. Why? What is the disability? Is the accommodation necessary to make housing available for these individuals? Well, the answer is yes, but why? And
All right.
it's just a small additional
Okay.
detail for each.
So and since you seconded, you can jump in also if you want. The accommodation is protected under the fair housing laws because they meet the definition of
Substance
all have a
abuse addiction
disability.
is identified as a legal disability.
Perfect.
The accommodation is necessary to make housing available for these individuals because there is no other place. There are no alternatives in the city of Holland where they can go. They do meet the definition of the disability in this case, so this housing will only be used by people with that, who meet that definition.
That legal definition of substance abuse.
It doesn't,
Is that, Fred, I'm sorry, is that a place where we could add that special condition that non-disabled people shall be limited to no more than 6 unrelated persons?
well, I wasn't going to add that because I thought it was pretty
Okay.
pretty apparent by everything that we're doing
Scratch
in this
that.
list of
Thank you.
questions, so.
All right.
So the request and the acceptance does not make a fundamental change to the city's zoning code. It's allowed and we're providing for that.
I think you jumped one there. I think the accommodation doesn't impose financial or administrative burden to the city. It appears that they're self-sufficient and they're not relying on any financial support, as far as I know, from the city.
And there's been no track record of, excessive public services or public safety services required for this accommodation
Right.
or for this home.
And the last one is that there are other places where women can be accommodated in the city, but there are none in the city of Holland that provide the benefits for these particular kinds of problems. How's that? We good?
I've got the over the glasses look. You get in there.
We're good?
We're good.
Okay. Can we have a call for a vote, please?
Motion to approve with conditions. And Van Antwerp,
Yes.
Bedard,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Surratt,
Yes.
Lockery,
Yes.
Fusak.
Yes.
Motion is approved with conditions.
All right. Thank you. I think next on our agenda is the approval of the previous meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved?
With support?
Okay, all those in support, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. And if there's no other orders of business, we're just looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Oh, I have a question.
Oh, sorry.
Just-
Hold
Do
on.
we have a meeting next time?
We have received one application for a special exception for the meeting next
So
month.
we're good, all right.
Do we foresee the withdrawn?
We
uh,
do not see the withdrawn
that one's not
application
gonna come
coming
back.
back.
Okay, right.
No.
Like a motion, make a motion to adjourn.
Support?
Support. All those in support, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion is approved. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.